Well, let's jump into the tech side of things,
Okay.
Shaunna, because you and I have been involved in the community around
Mm-hmm.
DFW and a lot of the tech associations. At this point, where do you kind of see the current climate of the tech world right now?
Complex and uncertain
Mm,
and rapidly changing.
it's a good summary.
Um, and unfortunately, the culture today is not heart centered.
Hmm.
And that's caused, I think, by a couple of factors. One is there's so much uncertainty right now, and there's so much change
Yeah.
with AI and dealing with the economy and geopolitics, and there's just so much uncertainty. And what we see is um, companies really sort of retreating, watching costs,
Wait and see.
waiting and seeing.
Yeah.
I've been reading that companies now are more getting used to what was going on in 20M25, and so they're starting to think more strategically, but they're still really watching costs. We see that in the fact that we have job huggers now because people are
Mm,
afraid to give
yes.
up a job because
It's
they
the
know it's
latest
hard to
term.
get a job. We're in an economy where, I don't know if you know this, but 18 to 24-year olds right now, the unemployment is 10.5%.
That's high.
Kids, it's really high. It's double the
Mm,
average unemployment here. So
yeah.
companies don't want to train new people.
Right.
I think this is a big mistake because it's a strategic investment, and
Mm,
young people will remember what companies did during
yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
we've got a lot of AI hype
Mm-hmm.
instead of, I think back to 2008 when we had the recession. Companies were laying off a lot of people, but they laid off the people saying, with more honesty and transparent communication, it's the economy. We're really sorry about the impact of this on your
Mm,
families,
right.
but we have to do it. We're struggling as a company. The economy is bad. We're not doing that today, even though it's still the economy. We're
Yeah.
saying it's AI, and we're announcing, Fortune 500 companies announcing, we laid off 14,000. Hooray, we're doing so great with
We're so
AI.
efficient.
We're so efficient, right? We know the truth. I mean,
Mm,
7%, I just looked it up this week,
mm,
7% of Fortune 5 or large companies in this country have adopted AI at any scale.
yeah.
Only
It's a small percentage.
12% really
Mm,
are making any progress. And yet we're announcing these huge number of layoffs and
yeah.
saying, almost celebrating how much, uh, progress we've made. Employees know that's not the truth.
Yeah.
We're breaking trust so much.
Yeah.
It's just really challenging right now.
Yeah.
Companies are not they're eliminating things like training. They're eliminating things like employee celebration. They're
Mm,
pulling back on their university relationship partnerships.
right.
It's just a challenging time.
It is. Yeah. Well, and so one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation with you today is your new book.
Yeah.
You didn't write a book about AI.
No, I did not.
You wrote a book, Leading with Heart,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In this digital, highly technical world we live in now,
Right.
you wrote about the heart.
I did. I'm
Um,
really out of sync.
why? Why, Shaunna?
um, I think we've really forgotten who makes a business.
Mm,
We've really forgotten. We are acting as if people are replaceable components that are merely cost on our bottom line. I think a lot of people would say, I personally know, I know it with my clients. There are so many heart centered leaders out there. But right now, there are few people standing in the public forum talking about leading from the heart. and because they don't want a target on their back. And we are just breaking trust with so many people who work with us. And we're breaking trust with the next generation. And that makes me really sad. In one of the richest countries in the world, we can't take care of our young people. There's something callous about that. And so I want to give, I know there's a large part of leaders who lead from a position of control and power over others. I'm not going to change them. But there are so many leaders out there who truly believe leading is serving others, and leading is relational and about serving. And I want to give them encouragement and support and tell them it's still really important.
Yeah.
And be courageous.
A lot of times, though, in a corporate environment, or even just in our own business kind of oriented environment, if we are leading with our heart or too much empathy, we're seen as weak or soft or too vulnerable. And so we have to protect ourselves and put our walls up. What would you say to that kind of objection?
I would say look at the results. We create results through people. That's the definition of leadership. We don't talk about leadership in AI. You don't lead AI. You lead people.
Yes.
And at the heart of leading people is connection and relationship. I mean, I challenge our listeners to think about the best boss that they ever worked for in their life, or the best teacher, or the best coach. Those were the leaders and teachers and coaches that really saw you, really cared about you, really wanted you to be your very best and succeed and unleash your potential. All of us know, despite what we're taught, we all know those leaders that shaped and informed us and loved us and grew us.
Well, they made us feel seen.
They made us feel belonging. They made us see the light in us. Sometimes they saw the light in us when we didn't see it.
Yes.
I think about this one VP I talked about early in my career. He saw talent I didn't even know I had and took risk on me. I mean, when I think over my career, it's not the achievements I think about. It's not the challenges I think about. It's the relationships that I had in my career that have stayed with me and shaped me and caused me to feel so much gratitude.
Yeah. Well, and you're giving back now.
I hope I am.
I want to dive into your book here, and huge shout out. All of you out there in the audience need to get a copy of this book, but I'm going to show you exactly why. Okay.
Thank you, Fanny.
Absolutely. So I want to read something from the beginning. So you actually started, there's several chapters in this book. And in chapter 1, it's all about self-awareness.
Yes.
Right? And I want to read an excerpt from this book, and for all of you out there, and that is the power of knowing yourself. You said the first step to becoming a heart-centered leader isn't reading another book or mastering a new strategy. It's slowing down long enough to get to know ourselves.
Yeah.
You are not too much. You are not too soft. You are not inadequate. You are here on purpose with a gift that only you can offer the world. The more you accept and honor who you are, the more powerful your leadership begins. Yeah. I get tingles just reading that, Shaunna.
I'm glad.
And So why start with self-awareness? Why start with this chapter about who am I? Why is that important?
Well, first of all, leadership is an inside out journey. But the reason I start there is my belief system. Again, go back to my family of origin. I believe we are uniquely and beautifully made. There is no other Fanny Dunagan on the planet, probably the universe, with your unique gifts, your unique talents, your perspective, your life experience, your DNA, your passion, your purpose, your reason for being. So if we don't know who we are as these unique, beautiful human beings, how can we live out this purpose and this gift that we've been given, right? So it has to start with us honoring and loving ourselves. And what I've learned over a lifetime is the more I can know and honor and love who I am uniquely as Shaunna Flynn Black, the more able I am to see that beauty in others and honor and respect who they are. And I truly believe that we come into this world given what we need to live out our purpose, if we will only embrace it.
It's almost like a journey, a return to ourselves.
It's a return. Oh, that's
right?
That's perfect, Fanny. It is a return to ourselves. And I work with a lot of clients, a lot of executives, and who haven't gone there in a long time.
Well, it got buried.
It got buried.
Right? Because we had to put up walls to fit into a certain environment. Or to get that ROI, to justify that cost, and then everything just buried the heart and the who we truly
So we
are.
sort of go on a treasure hunt together, and I don't know why, but I know one of my gifts. I know now that one of my gifts is I've always been able to see the light in people. Frequently, even when they can't see it themselves. And I love being a powerful mirror because it gives me a lot of joy when I see people love their uniqueness.
Well, knowing you as both a friend and as a coach, I think you make the environment safe for us to show up as ourselves.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think you do the same thing.
I'm going to, I'm getting just emotional just thinking about all this stuff. But I want to read another excerpt from the book. And this is because I think we're, if I want to speak for the audience, let's say, right, there's still a lot of objections out there, right? And it's because we've had to fit in, right? So one of the excerpts here is, at times, you were sharing your experience. At times I tried to fit into environments where my natural style felt too soft, too relational, too different. Yet the truth is this: my ability to connect deeply, to care about the person in front of me, to lead with love, that's my superpower. That's how I lead best.
It is.
How did you make that discovery?
With time. My style of leadership is very team-based. You're right. Probably it goes back to both my family of origin. I was the oldest of 5. Family
That's
of 7.
That's a team right there.
That's a team.
That's a basketball team.
And then sports. Everything is done together, right? Everything is done inside a relationship. When I entered TI, I knew, and a big piece of my value system is fun. I knew if I was going to stay at TI, I needed to have fun in my job. And so that was about it always being a us, not a we. It was us. I have a real need to have fun at work. I love celebrating small wins. Um, one of my strengths is I'm a connector. I want to connect with people. And so we had really challenging assignments, really high pressure, fast schedule, high quality, budget constraint type projects. And we managed to have fun. We managed to build relationships. We managed to do it together. I think that I just got comfortable pretty early showing my heart. And what I found out is the more I showed my heart, the more people felt safe to show their heart to me. And that was so important to me. Because I wanted to work in that kind of culture, that kind of environment. Right. It felt like my team. Yeah. And no surprise, we delivered extraordinary results. And so I got to learn that technology in Fortune 500 wasn't any different than being on a team or being in a classroom. We were all the same people. We were just grown up. Yeah.
Well, and when you share it like that, it makes me think if everyone's caring about each other on the team, then they're also going to care about the product that they're making.
Absolutely.
Right?
And our customers. Absolutely.
And then so you'll take the extra time to be meticulous. You'll take the extra time to be detailed oriented.
Absolutely.
Check upon check, quality control. All those things are important in manufacturing.
Absolutely.
Right?
And in that kind of environment, people hold each other accountable, but it's not scary or shameful. It's like, Fanny, you told me you were going to do that yesterday. I needed to do my part. And you're like, yeah, I'm sorry. This happened and I'll get on it. And you have totally different conversations, right?
Because I care about the product.
Yeah.
I care about the performance of the team.
But more than that, we care about each other, right? We're giving each other that discretionary effort because I care about what Fanny thinks about me. I care about, I just slowed Fanny down because I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. I care about that. It's a whole different dynamic. And it's also a dynamic where I can say, Fanny, I'm so sorry. I screwed up. I had a family thing last night with my kid. Yeah. She was sick. It blew my whole evening apart. I meant to finish this at home last night. I'm so sorry, but can you give me some grace here? Right. I'll get on it today. Right.
And trust is built as a result of that.
Yeah. I mean, we can fail together. We can be real together. We can bring our whole life to work because that's who we are. And we figure it out together. Yes. There's no protection. There's no survival. There's no blame. We're in the mess together.
In the muck.
Figuring it out together.
Yeah.
And you're assuming goodness about me. And I give it back to you when you need it. If something goes wrong, I assume goodness about you first and ask you questions.
Right.
Why would we want to work in anything else?
Well, let me play the role of the skeptic here.
Please.
Shaunna. Because we don't always feel safe, though, right?
Most times.
Because maybe if we raised our hand or we shared a piece of feedback or we shared a little too openly, we might be ignored. We might be brushed off. Our suggestion is tossed aside, right? So then it takes a lot of courage to share openly, right? And it takes... I also feel like we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
Right? Like you start the chapter with self-awareness, but what if I don't know what I don't know, right? And I'm too scared to show it. I'm too scared to ask. What advice would you have for me to begin?
The first thing is to own that, know where you are, because we we make up our own stories about what's going on. It's not the going on that's the issue. It's our story about the going on. And all of us bring our accumulated stories from our whole background. I mean, I won't go into your story, but you have the immigrant story. There's a
Yes.
whole
There's
boat
baggage all
leg and
around that.
baggage from that, right?
Absolutely.
So you come into a relationship with me, I don't know that story. All I know is I'm sitting across the seat from somebody who is beautiful and composed and intelligent and articulate. I don't know your story. But I can create safety for you in this conversation.
But that's assuming I'm with a good leader.
Yeah. So
What if I'm not
okay,
with a good
okay.
leader?
If you're not with a good leader, you're with a good teammate. So where I started early in my career, I didn't always. I had a lot of great leaders. I wouldn't have had the career I did without great leaders. And by the way, they were all men because I never had the opportunity to work for a woman, while I was at TI. But I had some bad leaders too. Some
So what do you do in
early in
that
my
case?
career. I had great teammates. And so what you do is you look around and figure out who can you trust. You look around and figure out who do you already feel some safety and some empathy with. And you create alliances outside of the room. So the Japanese have a wonderful word. And I think I was trying to remember who told me this. I think it might have been one of my Japanese TIers, because I used to travel back and forth to Japan a lot. It's called Nimawashi, and it's literally about digging around the roots of a tree and preparing it before you transplant. But in effect, it's really about creating informal alliances outside of the room. And this was one of the keys to my success at TI, because I was almost always the only woman leader in the room. And that in a male system is a very competitive system. It's not a collaborative system. Women's systems typically are more collaborative. And so competing inside the room for the attention, for the resources, for the capital, for the approval, that's the normal way of behaving.
Right.
And so I was in a lot of those rooms, but I started doing Nimawashi. So it was, for example, you said being spoken over. It's not uncommon for a woman to express a really brilliant idea and nobody hears it. And then, 5 minutes later, some other man at the table expresses the same room. And, oh, wow, it's the most brilliant thing that I ever heard. Early in my career, I had that happen. And so I was creating alliances with the people at the table. And I would ask them outside the room, take them to coffee or have lunch or whatever I did, and explain what I was experiencing. And honestly, they hadn't noticed because that wasn't something they were attuned to. And I would ask them, if you see that happen again, would you, or if I come with an idea and you think it's good, but nobody else even picks up on it, if you'll just say, hey, Shaunna, that sounds great. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Or if that other thing happens, could you just say, oh, yeah, Shaunna just mentioned that 5 minutes ago. Right. So I started creating alliances outside of the room.
I love that.
And then I was their ally, too,
Right.
when they needed me.
It's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street. There's always people you can ask for help. I would say find them.
I love that. I love that. Alliances. There's a story that you've told before, and I think it's in the book as well, right? Where if you're stressed from one environment, and it's still lingering in you, and then you bring it to that next
Mm-hmm.
meeting, people notice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How does that teach us about self-awareness?
So I describe that in the book as energy. Um, we bring our energy enters the room before we do. And I talk about in the book an experience where I come from a very stressful environment, a stressful meeting, and I thought, I had put it aside as I entered into my meeting with my extended leadership team. And I was not being self aware. And I was still in reaction from that first meeting. And so I carried that into the room. And my team felt it right away, and I was unaware that they were feeling that. I was unaware that they had gone on guard and had gotten silence, and I just sort of powered through my leadership team meeting. And afterwards, I went to my office thinking that everything had gone fine, and one of the members of my team, thankfully, I had built that much trust by that time that he could come to me. Yeah. And he said, "Are you having a bad day?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was still not in touch with this. And he explained what the team had seen. And I could tell as he spoke that the team had a discussion after I left, and he sort of was the spokesperson. And I was not self aware. I was still reacting internally to what had happened. But instead of owning that and taking some time out and getting myself right so I could choose my response or choose my energy as I walked into that room, I carried it with me. And we do that all the time.
Yes.
And if we are reacting from what we're carrying, and by the way, frequently our frontal cortex does not know what's going on in our heart brains and our gut brains. This is the head brain. Yeah. But there's a lot of research about how the heart brain and the gut brain is driving the head brain, not vice versa. If we are not in touch with what's going here, we will project it there. Yeah. And here's the thing. There are two groups of people, I believe, in our lives that know us better than we know ourselves because they watch our behavior. Our families and the people we work with every single day.
Our second families, pretty much.
Our second families. Yeah. So if you are not aware of what's going on here, you're going to be blind to the impact you're having on those two groups of people.